The most anticipated game of the year meets the best cloud gaming platform to date. Starfield is finally on GeForce Now. This means you'll be able to discover the entire galaxy's wonderful mysteries in the most Bethesda way possible.
Glad you're in the fleet. If you weren't, I would have killed you already.
On just about any device, including your PC, laptop, Chromebook, and Xbox, for free. Granted that you've purchased a copy of the game on Steam, the Microsoft Store, or as a member of the Xbox Game Pass. The question is, how do things play and what should I expect from every tier on GeForce Now? Well, get that grav drive charged, because playing Starfield on GeForce Now will take you out of this world, and we'll start with the free tier. The free tier is obviously going to be the tier where most people are going to be playing on the service. But will the free tier be worth your time, and can you play well? Right now, it's up in the air or floating in space. The biggest problems you'll have with the free tier will be the queue times and, most importantly, the hour time session. Since GeForce Now has increased its user base by 10 million in the past year, queue wait times have been crazy. And since this game is one of the most requested games to come to GeForce Now, expect this number to climb. Also, managing where you are in the game and saving accordingly is crucial to your progression of the game. You don't want to go the full hour and have not saved and quit the game properly. Thankfully, there are autosaves. But remember, if you don't quit the game properly, you might have cloud save issues, especially Steam users. This goes for every tier of GeForce Now. I actually don't recommend the free tier for this game at all. It's pretty demanding. You get limited bandwidth, and we've had several loading issues, so if you're experiencing the same, you're not alone in this galaxy. This goes for the Steam version and the Xbox version. I highly suggest moving to the paid tiers to play this game effectively. Is the priority tier worth it? Let's find out. Now, as I can actually get into the game to play on this tier because of the additional power and bandwidth, you need to know before you get into the game is the version of the game. GeForce Now supports the Steam version and the standalone Microsoft version or the PC Game Pass version. The Microsoft Store and the Game Pass version will use the Xbox game selection. Be aware that each version has cloud saves. So if you're coming from a Microsoft version, you'll be able to pick up right where you left off. If you get an error with syncing, just hit try again and you should be good. Don't forget this game also has shaders. Don't worry, this isn't Modern Warfare. They only take about 30 seconds to a minute on all tiers. Now, performance on the priority tier is subpar for a decent gaming PC, but better than playing on the Xbox at 30 FPS. GeForce Now sets us up at medium settings at 1080p max. Now, I'm sorry to say that the FPS is up and mostly down for most parts of the galaxy. In space and deserted planets, I get an average of about 45 FPS. 60 FPS was never a constant. In the most demanding areas like the Mass District or Aquila City, I was hitting mid-20s. This game is very demanding even for the priority tier. This is why the free tier had so many issues just running the game on the 1060 configuration. It just couldn't handle it. We had similar results playing on Xbox. And yes, you can play the game on Xbox with GeForce Now. Things were good at 1080p on a ship or an outpost, but more popular areas were dragging. Also expect similar performance on mobile, but remember, this is better than 30 FPS for almost every device, so credit where credit is due. Now, Starfield's real test will be on the ultimate tier. Can this tier designed for 120 FPS at 4K handle a game like this? I've covered the game before on similar hardware with a ton of various results. Nvidia released a GPU driver update specifically for Starfield, and this has improved things, but not a ton. Let me show you. GeForce Now has the ultimate tier set at ultra settings with FSR on for this game, which is awesome. Can I hit 120 FPS at 4K? Yes and no. In close quarters areas like outposts and caves, hitting a very high FPS close to 120 is very possible, and the game plays phenomenally. It's when you hit those certain points like the Mass District once again. Here I get as low as 40 FPS on 4K Ultra. Here's the thing, I changed the settings to low and I only get a 10 FPS increase. Crazy! The same happens in Aquila City. It hovers around 45 FPS in the center of town. Now if you're playing in ultra wide, you'll encounter a very similar experience. Minus those certain areas. The game looks amazing and it runs well. Ultra wide players should be very happy with this. Do 1080p players get a huge increase? Shockingly, you get a similar experience. For open planets and outposts, FPS is a bit better than 4K, but overall, 120 FPS, let alone 240 FPS, is basically non-existent. The game generally hovers around 60 to 80 FPS at 4K, and around 70 to 100 FPS at 1080p on most planets and in space, so you really only have to worry about certain high traffic areas. This is really a game optimization problem overall. I guarantee we'll get plenty of updates to the game, including DLSS, which should work significantly better on Nvidia hardware than FSR. Hopefully this should include frame generation.
Did you hear that?
But saying all this, please understand that the Ultimate tier is easily the best way to play the game in all resolutions, period. Maybe I was right about that Cyberpunk comparison. Now if you're ready to try out 1440p or 4K yourself, and you have the Ultimate tier, make sure you set the correct settings for your resolution and monitor refresh rate. Also know that if you want to go 4K, you will need at least a Pascal grade video card, a GTX 1000 series, to handle the 4K video decoding process. You can also use the Nvidia Shield TV Pro, a qualified mini PC, and the Samsung Gaming Hub on select 2022 models or higher to stream in 4K on your TV. Be aware this is also a requirement for ultra-wide monitors. Last thing, don't forget to make sure that you have decent internet. I would have a minimum download speed of 50 megabits per second for priority members, and 100 megabits per second for the Ultimate tier for maximum bitrate streams, especially if you live with others using the internet. We'll be continuing to watch the updates for Starfield on the platform as time goes on, so if you like this overview of Starfield on all tiers of GeForce Now, give us a like. Also, make sure to join as a member of the channel or join our Patreon and Discord in the links below. And above all else, make sure to subscribe to keep it locked right here at the only place where you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle.